Oh, the USP45, the gold standard for 45 caliber pistols, combat 45 caliber pistols, maybe even more highly regarded for its durability over the 1911. Now, this pistol draws some criticism from people that do not like the method in which I guess it operates. And there is some legitimacy to that, but overall I think that it's a little bit misplaced. Now, as you can see here, it's a little bit different here because I got an aftermarket magazine. This is a ban era magazine. As you can see, it's for law enforcement sales only. And I was able to get it on hkparts.net. And they have them off and on, but I haven't seen them around for a while, so I got a total of 3 magazines, and I got flush base plates on them. But with a capacity of 12 rounds, I don't really see that much competition on the market, except for the newer Walther PPQ 45, which also holds 12 rounds, and it also has very good ergonomics, such as just as this pistol does. I found that this is one of the most comfortable 45 caliber pistols that I've ever held and shot. Now, where it does lose out on comfort is in its recoil, but it's kind of deceiving because you do get a bit of muzzle flip, but it doesn't really impact your hand too aggressively. I know I've got 2 other reviews that I've done on this pistol, but it hasn't really done it justice, so I want to give you guys a rundown on its performance. The recoil is pretty low, the muzzle flip seems to be pretty high, but it goes right back on target, as I discussed in another video with how this recoil reduction system works. Basically, it slows down the slide rearward movement so gradually enough, but very quickly, to where it completely stops, and the primary spring, it just basically pushes it back into battery. It doesn't really slow it down from its rearward movement. That is the secondary spring. So at least that's what I see in its design. And really, this design was originally made for the 40 caliber, and it was scaled up for the 45. But this design has withstood the test of time, and though the compact itself uses what we currently know in the P30 and P2000 to be the nylon buffer, I think this design with the spring, the dual recoil spring, actually may last a little bit longer, but that may not be the case, seeing as HK has gone to the stronger flat wire recoil spring and the nylon buffer. Maybe that's a little more effective in recoil dampening and also in terms of service life. So I did get the chance to shoot an HK 45, and it uses that same method of using a nylon buffer and a stronger recoil spring itself, and the recoil was actually a lot higher. The guy that shot it, we traded pistols, and the guy who shot it definitely noticed a difference between the USP 45 and the HK 45. So it kind of was a sad experience for him, but he still liked his HK 45. He didn't really want to get rid of it. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's a lot more money than, it's a couple $100 more even as MSRP than the USP 45. But there's a lot of criticism, such as this this control here. Now, a lot of people say, well, HK designed it to be very similar to the 1911. I don't buy that, because I would say the Mark 23 system, which actually came out a little bit earlier than the USP, actually had a lot better way of doing things. It did have a manual safety, so you could make it cock and lock, and then it had an independent decocker. Now, when I got the opportunity at SHOT Show recently to check out the Mark 23, I found that system to be a lot better. And for one reason: if you want to carry it cocked and locked, you're not risking decocking it, you know, before your first shot, which I found myself actually doing when I was running this gun really hard. So really, I find this pistol to be a very good service pistol, but there are a few things that I think it falls short on, such as having the decocker and the safety in one lever. I don't really care for that. I think if they wanted to do anything, leave it as a safety lever and kind of go with the P30 type decocker in the rear. But the HK45 didn't do that, and I'm really disappointed in it not doing that. But at the same time, it's not really hard to run this pistol. It's not really likely that you're going to flip it on safe. It's very highly unlikely that you're going to flip it on safe. It is still a used pistol in some police departments here, and it is used around the world with various little agencies and some military services and security forces, but it's not really in heavy use. I mean, the movie Collateral did, inspire a lot of people to get into the USP market, and that's pretty cool. But at the same time, I think that not so much the 45 version, but the 9mm might actually probably be the best USP I know of. But the 40 caliber really was the start of it. But I do like that they have metal mags for the USP45 versus the polymer mags. I know this is a little bit off topic, but I'm just, talking in general about it. But other things like the sighting system on the USP, such as the USP45, allows this to get very quick sight pictures or a very quick sight picture, and a lot of the HK pistols do not use that anymore. But I think that it allows this pistol to, I guess, be used a lot easier, and the ergonomics on here allows this pistol to be pointed very naturally. You don't have to cant forward or cant it back. You just hold it in a natural way and it points exactly. You get an instant sight picture basically, so it's very natural in that sense. The trigger reach is not bad on this, and this is really the way that I gauge pistols. I should be able to get at least most of my trigger finger, a little bit more than half on the trigger. So in the trigger, after you work with it for a while, the USP trigger is really nice. The reset on it is very nice. I don't really use reset that often, but for critics on the HK pistols, this is really one of the best ones. There's no real mush. People are a little dramatic about that, but for me, I think it's one of the best triggers on the market as far as double actions go. And it's very smooth as long as you lubricate it properly, etc. In general, I find the USP45 to be the ultimate 45 caliber, but at the same time, I think this platform itself really shines more in the 40 caliber and the 9mm, simply due to the fact that the recoil on them are a bit lower than with this pistol. This kind of shoots like a 9mm in recoil, but at the same time the muzzle flip can be a little off-putting. But even if you're not tracking your sights, I've found that even with a relatively limp wrist, you're going right back on target, and that's mostly, I would give credit to the recoil reduction system for that. But leave your comments below if you like videos like this. You can go ahead and subscribe, and stay tuned for more reviews like this.